guys, as I said last week, this week I thought I would share my current journals with you. Now I've seen a few people on YouTube do this really recently, which is what prompted me to do it, and I did a current journals video in May 2013, so just over a year ago now, and I haven't done one since. So I thought really it was high time I did an updated one, and just kind of to share with you guys, but also for myself as well, because I sort of see that as a what's the word? Kind of like a chance to evaluate what I'm doing and what I'm using, and kind of think about whether I need that or whether I need to shake it up a bit, and if I'm happy with my current situation. So it's a two-way process. One, showing you and showing you my current journals and maybe inspiring you to journal or journal in that way, and also for myself to kind of take stock and look at the journals that I've got and that I'm currently using. So there's going to be some similarity from last year, because some of the journals haven't changed, some have, some haven't, and yeah, it's just going to be some the same, some not the same. So I have quite a few laid out on the desk in front of me, so I better crack on. Right, so firstly I have my art journal, and I call it an art journal for sort of ease of definition, probably because that's what most people will perhaps associate this with, and it's kind of like easier for me as well. This journal contains artwork, or any of the journals that I've had in the past that I call art journals are a mix of everything, as you'll know if you've seen any of my flip throughs. I only ever do flip throughs of my art journals because there's sort of more art in here, whereas my other journals are, I'd probably say, a lot more personal or boring. And yeah, so this is my art journal, and in my art journal I paint and draw and colour, and all of that is a mix between creating for creating's sake, just because I want to paint or do something. It could be because I'm trying out new techniques or want to learn something new. Sometimes I use it for concept art. I also do it for sort of documenting something that's happened, or I do it just to kind of as a process for releasing emotions or feelings, good and bad. So that's about the artwork in there. I also use it as a little bit of a scrapbook and smash book, so I'll pop receipts in there if I've got any, or leaflets or photos or anything that I want to, and I'll also write in there as well. So you'll have some pages like that, which kind of people probably consider as an art journal page, because it's kind of art. There's just got a quote on it, and it's a double page spread and all that kind of stuff. So that's probably what people would identify if I was to say art journal page. But I don't necessarily like the idea of art journal. I prefer the term artist's journal. So this is my journal, and because I'm an arty sort of person, or I'm more of a visual person, I tend to art it up. It's probably quite hard to explain. So like this is a page of kind of collage from Easter, and I tell you what, next week I will do, I'm halfway through this journal, so next week perhaps I'll do a halfway flip for you, so that may give you a better idea. But you know, I have things that like this that are just art. This one, as I said in my video about my acrylic muse, was getting me back to using acrylics again. This one was more like concept art, which has now turned into a Filofax dashboard. So I kind of use my art journal for various different things. So I'll perhaps do a flip through next week of halfway through, and that way you'll probably kind of understand a bit more. But if you saw my last art journal flip, then that kind of will probably make sense. So it's just a mixture of everything. It's a visual artist journal, or a visual journal, where I write, I scrapbook, I smashbook, I collage, I paint, I draw, I process emotions, I try new techniques, you know, a bit of writing and a bit of drawing. I process feelings, I document my life, I try new things, all that kind of stuff. And that is what I call my art journal, or my artist journal. And it's a big old beast. It does go out of the house if I go on holiday or something, but not terribly so. But I love the large size format of it. So that's that. Okay. So last week I also talked about my no pressure journal. So this is kind of like a rough, on the go kind of journal, and I'm not going to go too deeply into the whys and what fors of this journal, because I explained it all last week. So if you missed that, go and check that video out. So there's that. I have a written journal for when I just want to write reams and reams and reams of writing. Just a written journal, and that's all it is a written journal. Occasionally I may put a bit of washi tape on it, or something like that, but it's more of it's hard to explain, but it's when I don't necessarily want to document or process with any sort of visual element. I just want to use writing, and I'm using my Filofax Finsbury at the moment in an A5 size, and I like that it's loose leaf, because I'm using a mix of plain paper, writing paper, patterned paper. I'm kind of mixing it up, and that's where like the visual element is coming from, is different papers. But it's solely a written journal, and it's way too private to share any of that, or too boring. So yeah, but it's good to kind of reflect back on. And there's a lovely lady on YouTube called Miss Vicky B, and she's done a couple of videos recently. I think she just did a recent current journals video. I'm always a little bit behind on my subscriptions, because I subscribe to too many people, and I can only watch so much YouTube a day. So I'm usually a few weeks behind in the people that I subscribe to. But she did a few videos recently on her journals, and I really liked her Dear Diary style of journaling video. So I would recommend you go and check her out, because that's really cool. Yeah, so there's that. So that's all loose leaf, ring bound. Yes. So I also, as you know, if you watch any of my Filofax videos, some of you may not, because some of you are just into the journal stuff, and that's fine. I have this Filofax, which is my current 85 Apex, and it has all my planning stuff in there. So my diary, meal planning, home planning, like my home binder, everything goes in here. However, I have a tab right at the very, very back. She says it's right at the very, very back. I have a tab here, and in here it just has a wad of plain lined paper, and that is in there because if I'm sort of in, so I just have this in case I'm out and about, or you know, I'm in the garden, I'm maybe doing a planning session or something, and that kind of sparks something off in my mind that I want to write about. Then I've got paper in the back here I just journal what I want to, and then I'll just take it out of the rings and put it in my Finsbury journal. So that's how they're kind of working together. This isn't a journal, but it's complementing my journal. Okie dokie, so moving on. This one is really heavy. This is a book, and it's a book that I picked up from a charity shop for 50p, and I fell in love with it because I really liked the sort of the gold embossing on the front, and it's got shells and starfish and seahorses on it, and I really liked it. I really did, and I was going to actually just use the covers alone, but it's really well bound. It's beautiful. It's by the National Geographic Society, and it was only 50p, and I couldn't pass it up because I thought it was just beautiful. And actually the book inside is really lovely, and it's got some beautiful pictures and stuff in there. And it's really funny because I bought this to do as an altered book, and I started using it as an altered book, and then decided to kind of make it into more of a painterly book where I can paint stuff in. And Mr. B said to me, "Oh, I like that book." And then he opened the front page and he saw I'd painted all over it. He was like, "Oh, I would have read that." Whoopsie. But yeah, so I was kind of... This is a current journal, even though I haven't actually used it for a while. I have hardly touched it, to be honest, because I don't know why, and I might actually go back to doing stuff with it. I think it's because it's kind of been pushed to the back of the pile, but I do like it. I do think it's really pretty, and I was using it just to paint things that were inspired by the sea, and I was actually keeping some of the photos in here as they are because I really liked them. So in here, that was a painting I did of a mermaid quite some time ago. I actually filmed a speed paint of this on this channel. Yes, I did quite a while ago. So if you wanted to see her come together, then check her out. And then this page, I kept the photograph as is and just wrote on it because I thought it was lovely. And then yeah, it's just kind of some more painting, and then I just sort of stuck the pages together because I loved the photograph in there. So yeah, this is just my sea inspired journal, which is a lovely book. It's so heavy, I'm going to have to put that down, but I love it. Okay, so moving on now. Some of these, oh no, you won't have seen this one. This one is fairly new. I have this book here. It's I don't think it's leather, it's sort of faux leatherish, I'm not really sure. It's purple. The paper in it isn't the greatest quality, so I'm still kind of experimenting with it in terms of paper quality, you know, what inks and stuff I use, but I have started using it. This book is my book of shadows, and if you're interested in books of shadows and what to do, or maybe how to develop your book of shadows, then check out Romany's channel. She's Romany's Realm. She's doing a Witchy Wednesday series, so go and check her out. But I love this book. It just makes me want to stroke it. It's very textured and I love it. So then I have my sketch pad, which is actually just a cheap one from the Works here in the UK, and it's just got plain white paper in it, and I'm using it to experiment and play with my doodles, which then get turned into the doodles that you see on my Filofax inserts. So that's how they start up. I sketch them out and I play with them, and then, so for example, that's a penguin that turned into one of the Filofax inserts, but I kind of started off with a penguin, you know, like that, didn't really like it, or didn't think it was going to work, and then I drew another one, and you know, and then did it with pen and ink, and that's how I turn my doodles into the Filofax inserts. And there's the fox that so many of you might have seen. So this is kind of like just a sketchbook, just playing with different doodles and ideas, and some of them just will stay in here as, you know, doodles, and some of them will get turned into something. But yes, that's my sort of ideas sketchbook. So that's all the new journals.